Hey guys, it's me again. Today is May the 12th, and I realized I hadn't made a video in about 3 weeks, so wanted to give y'all guys another update. I had that first Stelara injection, and it went well. I feel like I should have said the Remicade, that I'm not taking Remicade anymore, or Humira, because my doctor deemed it to be not working as well. The Humira we weren't really sure about. Just my GI at the time, she was a little worried about the symptoms, so she sent me on down the road to a IBD specialist in Atlanta. So I was on Remicade with him, and then I started getting like a lot of dry patchy skin on my eyelids, which was very unusual for me, and I started telling him about that stuff, and it was just really odd, and he said, well, maybe we need to switch you. So I'm on Stelara. It's a 90 milligram injection every 8 weeks. Trying to think of all the things I need to tell you. Of course, I had my first injection, I don't remember what day it was, last month, but my next injection is coming up June the 8th, so I can do this. It's a little scary because I feel like with the Stelara being every 8 weeks, I work up more anxiety when it comes to be injection day. But I have to know that everything will be good, fine. I have to remind myself that. So, also what I wanted to add was, I don't know if I told you guys that with my first initial surgery, they had to take out my ileocecal valve. It's the valve that goes at the end of your small intestine, the start of your large intestine. Well, I spoke with my doctor about like the symptoms I'm still having, and it's mainly because I don't have that valve anymore, because my bowel movements can go from solid to, well, let's use today for example. I had a solid bowel movement this morning, and then several times later I had totally liquid bowel movements, just like water, when I went to the bathroom. And I told him about that, and he said, yeah, that's going to be consistent with you not having that ileocecal valve. I thought, well, if that's so, my symptoms aren't going to change just because of this injection. But then I also saw somebody comment on someone else's post about biologics helping the scar tissue not grow. So I'm not sure about that. I haven't done a whole lot of research on that. But that does kind of reassure me that I'm doing this for the right reasons, because my anastomosis, which is the scar tissue where my small intestine was joined back up to my large intestine, it's narrower. So if it keeps trying to put on scar tissue, it's going to get so narrow and cause an obstruction. And I don't want that to happen, and I don't want adhesions to happen on the outside of my intestines anywhere else. So I wanted to give you guys hope. These things are still manageable. I don't know what my future holds, but I know what helps me. What helps me right now, or what has been helping me since my initial surgeries in 2015 and 2016. And my past hospitalizations, which the most recent being August of 22 last year, is trying to chew my food more, slowing down when I eat things. Trying to eat more whole foods, more things that are organically grown. It doesn't have to be organic, just more whole foods in general, because we lack a lot of vitamins and minerals, and it's hard to absorb it as much with, say, Crohn's or colitis. And even those who have short bowel syndrome or the ileocecal valve syndrome, I also take a multivitamin for that, and it really helps out. Trying to think of any more tricks right now and tips for you guys. I know they say, drink more water. Of course, that does help, but some days I find it very hard for me to guzzle down a whole lot of water. I know we're supposed to sip on it over the course of the whole day. Some days I can do that. Other days, I don't even want it. Other days, I would rather eat than drink. And it's a daily struggle with that part. I do like tea. When I say tea, I'm talking about like herbal tea. That helps me a little bit with the water intake. And most recently, I know some people might think it's crazy, but for calcium, regular cow's milk, I just have bad reactions with it. It does not settle well on my stomach at all. And I've made the switch to goat's milk. Okay, when I say goat's milk, everybody's like, ooh, nasty. But if you find the right kind, it doesn't taste as goaty. It all depends on what they feed the goats and how they sanitize and prepare to milk the goats and all of that. Okay, Meinberg was the first one I tried. And Meinberg you can find at Walmart. I believe it's at Ingles. I think it's at Kroger too. It's decent, but it does have a goaty taste to me, personally. The one I found that I like the best, the brand is called Summerhill. It's a white and green label on the bottle, and it says Summerhill Goat. I think it says Goat Dairy Farm. But anyway, so far that has been the best tasting one. It is a bit pricey, of course, for the one. I'm thinking it's a half gallon that I get is almost $9 at Sprouts, and you can only find it at certain stores. That's the only downside about that one. So that's what I do to try to get my calcium in, because I did have a bone density scan. I guess it's been a couple months ago. And they said that my ranges were lower than the average person my age, average woman my age. So I was really concerned about that. I'm like, I've got to fix it, I got to fix it. Because that's just going to cause problems on down the road as I get older. Let's see. I did try slippery elm supplements. For me personally, at first I noticed it was helping ease with bowel movements. But then I didn't notice as much because it made me feel fuller than normal because the powder makes like a gel. It almost reminds me of chia seeds in a way because, you know, when you get the chia seeds, you put them in water and they start to gel up. That's what it reminded me of. So I only took that about a week or so. So I can't say that that was a big help. Let's see, other things I've tried. Of course, a lot of people want me to do aloe vera juice. For some reason, just in my case, every time I would drink it, it would cause me to pass blood. No idea why. I really don't know. So I decided to stop doing that because I didn't want my iron to get low or anything like that. Like medicinally wise, well, I had an abscess at the time, so that probably doesn't really count. They wanted me on budesonide, and every time I would take that pill, but mind you, I currently had an abscess that I did not know about, but I was in pain going to my GI at the time, and they prescribed me that budesonide, and it would make the pain so much worse. So I can't really say how that worked or it didn't work with me, but of course steroids I had to have at that time. I don't know, and then like overall general things, I try to add in ginger, turmeric when I can, of course with black pepper because that activates the turmeric and helps your body absorb it. Just things like that are anti-inflammatory. I wouldn't say that I get a whole lot of vitamin C for my immune system because the biologic medication, of course, suppresses your immune system. So, well, I try to, have the best hygiene I can, stay away from sick people as much as I can. And I try to eat healthy. Look, I'm not going to say I eat 100% healthy because I do not. I will let you know that firsthand. I have a weakness when I'm kind of hungry right then, right now. And I'll be like, Taco Bell really sounds good, or Captain D's. I try to stay away from McDonald's. No offense to anybody that works there or goes there, but for some reason, that just does not agree with me, and Burger King also is one of those. I can eat that stuff in moderation. I can eat fast food in moderation. But if I ate it on a daily basis, it would not be good. I would be miserable, probably run into the bathroom a lot. And that's another thing I found out for me personally without my ileocecal valve, that cutting out not all the sugar as much, trying to use honey, just trying not to eat as much because I used to be what you'd call a chocoholic. I still love chocolate, but chocolate sweets, as much as I used to eat them before all my surgeries and everything, and I started eating it the same way, it would give me diarrhea all the time. I would be so dehydrated, I would have to carry around a Pedialyte, and it was ridiculous. And I'm like, I've got to figure something out. So I realized, of course, my diet of chocolate and potato chips wasn't working. So we all have room to grow. In that aspect, I was ignorant of the nutrition world. I didn't know much about it at all, except for, your doctor would say, oh, well, you need to have 8 glasses of water a day, fruits and vegetables. And I'm like, okay. But they don't tell you, hey, you could put, like, say with bananas, you don't have to just eat it by itself. You could put it in a pancake recipe, banana nut muffin recipe, or let's see, at the time I didn't know about protein smoothies, and all that stuff helped me out. And then with my last abscess, I really learned how to cook the vegetables to where they're soft enough that I can use an immersion blender to make a soup out of it. Things that I would never eat before. Celery, broccoli, carrots. Some of them I do eat raw, but I have to watch that because I have to chew them up or I will be in some major pain because they get stuck at that narrow area in my intestines. But like I say, I've learned a lot. And in those soups, we were talking about immunity. I do try to put onion and garlic in there. Ginger, turmeric. What else do I put in there? And I like to have a potato as the base because it makes it creamier. So either a sweet potato or a white potato or the golden ones, the red ones. Any of those will work if you like it like that. That makes it thick. And it has a creamier texture. And then, of course, like, I don't really add in salt because if I put butter in there and it's salted, so you have that. Maybe a little milk if it needs it. I think that's about it. And I'll let it simmer on the stove, like I say, until all the vegetables get soft enough that I can blend them up. That's my dryer you hear going off right now. But they'll be soft enough to blend up, and then I will put them in mason jars and store them in the fridge, and they last a while. And say if I'm feeling bad that one day, I can go get that soup, put it in a cup or a bowl, and this is just me, but I warm it up. I almost treat it like tomato soup every time because it's about the same consistency. And I will warm it up, put cheese in it, shredded cheese, if you can tolerate the shredded cheese, and then sour cream in it, and I'll mix it up. And it's really hearty like that, and it fills you up. Yeah, I mean, that helps you out if you're sick and you just don't feel like fixing something. You can just go to that, And there are days, just like today, I kind of feel crappy. And cereal is my go-to, and I really need to cut back on that. I mean, we're all human, so we all have something we need to work on. We're still in the state of trying to get everything in boxes and move, as far as I know. And of course, like with my job, I was put on long-term disability and they terminated my position at where I worked. But I've realized that that's a blessing in disguise because I pushed myself so hard at that job. And as I say, you gotta look out for yourself because nobody's going to except for you. But that's in the past. But I wanted to let you guys know how I was doing so far with the Stelara. I still feel about the same. I mean, I can't think of anything that's really changed with it. For me personally, like I say, I'm not a doctor. You always need to seek advice from your doctor if you want to try to do different things. But yeah, that's my experience with it so far. And like I say, this one coming up in June, that'll be my second injection. And then my very first was an infusion. So you have an infusion, and then you start your injections with the Stelara. And if any of you guys didn't know, most of those programs for the biologic medications, they have like, what do you call it? A savings program where you can go online and enroll and apply for their savings card. And a lot of times if you have commercial insurance, I'm not sure if you don't have insurance at all, but they can get it down to like $5 an injection. So that's worth checking out, or asking your doctor what you can do for the expenses. And I think that's all that I wanted to say today. If y'all have any questions for me, I'll do my best to try and answer them. But I hope you all have a good day, and God bless.